Hello. I've been having conversations with people who are huge source of inspiration. Such conversations help me stay positive. Some of those conversations would have inspired you as well. Today our guest is Tobio. Toby is the assistant professor of political science at Panambali Memorial Government College, Chalakudi. When I connected with him for this conversation, he asked me, "Where are you sitting? How is the laptop placed? And are you leaning back to the chair?" He was in fact making me feel comfortable. You will find his positivity throughout this conversation. Toby doesn't have a role model. In fact, I find him a role model in using technology, in turning adversities to opportunities, in staying contented. I'm sure you will be so touched by his words. Let's talk to Tobio. Could you recall some memories from your school days?
I had my education at JMJ English Medium School, Athani. It was a school which is totally integrated for the visually impaired. I got admitted in 3.5 years there. And for the first 1 year, what we did was the special training for the visually impaired that would equip us to learn various things ourselves. It was a convent school, and it was with the help of those sisters that I learned English, that I learned to write as well as various songs as well. And from there, that school itself, I passed my matriculation with 80 percentage. And after that, I went to National Higher Secondary School, Irinalakuda, for my higher secondary education. And there, I took the humanities group. But initially, the teachers were not aware of the facilities for the visually impaired person. As you all know, I'm a totally blind person. So the teachers there at that +2 school were not aware of the facilities or how a visually impaired person would learn. So they were a bit skeptical, and they told me that they had 100% success in the 2 years, continuously for the 2 years. So, and I took it as an opportunity in order to prove that I would also not bridge those laws or those achievements. And in fact, I took it as a challenge to learn myself. And I also started answering the questions what the teachers asked. And I also listened to the class very well. Like that, I had my school education, and I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of teachers, and teachers were very encouraging, and the teachers were very helpful as well. And for the higher examinations, +2 and other such examinations, what we do is, as we cannot write ourselves, and the braille script is not known to the common people, we use the help of scribe. A scribe means those who write for us. And after that, we wrote the examination, and from there I passed the higher secondary examination with 82 percentage marks.
Why did you opt for humanities? Was that your preference?
At that time, there was no other options. Visually impaired person were supposed to learn humanities, but now we can learn any subjects what we prefer. But at that time, humanities was the only option. And I was not in favor of humanities till 8th standard, because I was in favor of science subjects. But after 8th standard, and especially in the 10th standard, I started loving social sciences. But still, when I took humanities as my subject, I was a bit disappointed at that time. But when I started learning, and when I started cooperating with my friends as well as with my teachers, I found it very interesting and enjoyable, especially to learn the history of the ancient world to the medieval world, the modern world, and as well as political science. In fact, political science teacher Srijit sir was my class tutor at that time, and he was also very encouraging, and his classes were also very interesting. He could connect the political science theories with the current events at that time. So that made me to choose political science for my higher studies.
That's very inspiring. In fact, it's not easy to cope up with a subject that is not our preference, right?
Actually, that is what I have to tell others, because we might not get the subjects what we like, But still, when we explore the subjects, what we get, or when we explore the theories or whatever, even if the practical, there are various opportunities hidden in various subjects. Our task is to find out the opportunities, and if we learn well, and if we work hard, we can master, or we can make use of the subjects what we learn. That was my life experiences what taught me. There are in fact various opportunities, and there are various civil service aspirants coming out of humanities subject. There was recently a person named Gokul. He's also a visually impaired person, and he has also come up with civil service. And humanities is also a very good subject. And now the recent trend is that students with high marks are choosing humanities as well. So now there is no such sort of compartmentalization. Now it is not at all relevant, I would say. That the perception that the people with lower marks would choose humanities, that has all gone.
You're right. There are many children who opt for humanities these days. Along with your academics, how did you start reading other books?
In my school days itself, we had certain Braille books. Braille books in the sense, the books that was embossed in Braille script. Those books were given to us for reading. So I was also, that made me quite interesting. And our teachers as well as sisters there, they also read various books in Malayalam, like Toto Chan. And at that time we had some Malayalam second books. So, and some story books. So that made me interested in reading. Then they also used to help us to reading news. They also used to read newspapers for us. So that also made me reading quite interesting. And some of my friends, we have some groups for the visually impaired. And in those groups also, the friends used to discuss about the various books that they read. So that also gave me an inspiration to read.
So Toby, you started reading books other than the Braille books. So did the technology help you, or your friends help you?
Actually, after my school days, I went to Kerala Varma College for political science graduation. So one of my senior friends named Subodh, he was using a computer. And previously, while I was studying in my school as well, they had also taught us a computer. And they have also introduced talking computers. That means at that time, my perception was that there was a particular type of computer, and that would talk. That was my perception at that time. Later on only, I came to know that in all computers, if we install a particular software, the talking facility would be started. After that, in 2007, when I was studying for my graduation final year, I purchased a laptop. It was I think it was in the month of September in 2007. Yeah, September 7th, 2007, Friday, that I purchased a laptop. And from that, in that laptop, I installed a software called JAWS. JAWS is the software, Job Accessible with Speech, and that would facilitate reading whatever is displayed on the screen. And besides that, there is also a software called Kurzweil, Kurzweil, Kurzweil. And with that software, we can read the books. That means if we have a scanner and if we scan the books, we can read those books. We need to scan all the pages of the book and we can read it out. Okay, so and that made me read various other books. And there were also some friends who had already scanned some books and who already had some ebooks, and that also accelerated my reading. And after that, after my graduation and post-graduation, certain technological advancement happened, like touch phones came into market, and it became popular, and WhatsApp and various other apps made its appearances. And we have an institution, we have an organization like Kerala Federation of the Blind, and they had in fact taken pains to form a group for the reading purpose. And there were volunteers as well as visually impaired people, and these volunteers would read books as well as newspapers for the visually impaired, and that also facilitated reading. And certain Malayalam books, Malayalam books we couldn't read by scanning because Malayalam scanning was not possible at that time. Even now also we don't have a proper mechanism to scan Malayalam books. Of course, we can read the PDF books, but it is not possible to read the printed books properly in Malayalam. So we have certain audio banks, we have certain materials like certain institutions like Kerala Federation of the Blind and various other institutions as well. And they also prepare certain books in audio format in order to accelerate the reading for the visually impaired people. So like that, I read various books. Even I also used to make some reviews about the books that I read. Not now, the previous times. And I read some books like Who Will Cry When You Die, like the book of Robin Sharma, then the book Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, then One Night at a Call Center by Chetan Park, then various other books. In Malayalam, I read the book Ummachu, then Benjamin's book Al Arabian Novel Factory, then Manyavel Maranangal, then Yayadi, V.S. Khandelkar's Malayalam translation Yayadi, and such various other books I read, and sometimes we used to discuss it with my friends.
Have you listened to Uma teacher's storytelling?
Yes. Uma, yes. Earlier we used to call Uma Madam. She used to read various books for us, and she read Sundaranmarum, Sundarigalam Sundaranmarum by Urub, then Ummachu, then Yayadi, then various other books. Even now she has Bashir, Premaleganam by Bashir, and various other books. And her reading is very much interesting. No? It really, she would definitely act when she reads. She definitely becomes that particular character, and we become immersed in the point what she reads. That is her magical reading power.
Wow, it's so nice to hear, and so nice of you to express how you have been receiving it. So is there anything that people can do to help to make things easier and enjoyable?
Let me modify. It is a feeling like we have eyes, so these people don't have eyes, so let us help them. So that means it is something like, those people don't have those people don't have individuality, and those people may not be having personality. So helping means treating us like objects. So rather than helping, what I would prefer is considering us like ordinary people, considering us like others itself, and not just showing sympathy. It is just empathizing us with others, so that if others empathize, there is no question or there is no point in the concept like helping, because if they empathize, definitely they will help, and we need to be empowered. Okay, so there is no question in helping. Of course, we need to get help from others. That is a real point what you asked, but still helping in the sense means it is some sort of doing a charity. So instead of doing such charity, we also would like to be treated as ordinary people with dignity. And Rights of Persons with Disability Act, it has also enhanced our power and status in the society.
Thanks, Tobia, for correcting me, and my sincere apologies if you have found it odd.
It's not. No, I was just telling my views.
Sure,
your question is.
Yeah.
Your question is very relevant.
And I've heard you saying you have watched some movies with your friends. Could you share some of those experiences?
Yeah, I have gone for movies with my friends. Of course, I may not be able to see the visuals all over there. So what I did at that time when I went to the theater was just asking what happened in that particular scene. Because by hearing a particular music or a particular any such sort of conversations or any such noises, I could indicate that something has happened there. So I would ask them what has actually happened, and so they rightly used to uh, give me a hint about something had happened, and they used to narrate. Now, suppose a music would be heard, I would ask what happened. Then, when they used to tell me, I used to enjoy it. I have gone to see the film Classmates in 2006. I don't remember the name of that theater. It was from Kerala College that I went there. And after that, I watched the film.
So, do you have an evaluation of a favorite actor?
I myself evaluate an actor by his or her presentation, voice modulation, and that particular dial-up presentation, and various other things. That is, I equate an actor, whether he or she is good or bad. And there is no point in good and bad and all, but what makes me one actor popular and what makes me one actor distinguished from the other one would be such sort of activities what that particular person or actor performs.
Toby, do you remember any movie that touched you?
There was a film called Akashaduta, which is quite emotional at that time. And various other movies like Talolam and various other movies. In fact, I used to watch only Malayalam films. But now, there are audio described movies as well. That means the real movies would be there in English. Some English movies only I have seen like that. The real movies are there for English, but apart from that, they used to release certain movies exclusively for the visually impaired. That means in the real movies, the audio description would also be embedded. So like that, they used to release. In fact, I have heard about such audio movies and I haven't watched those movies. My friends have watched and they have given me a very good narration about such movies.
You told about JAWS Reader and the tool that helped you scanning. How do you evaluate the influence of technology in learning?
I had my studies as a at Kerala Varma College for my graduation and post-graduation. For my graduation, what I did was that I recorded books or the learning materials with the help of my friends. I used to give a Walkman. At that time, this phone and computer was not that much popular. I just gave my Walkman as well as cassettes to those of my friends, and they used to record and return back. So like that, I learned, and still I also learned with the help of computers. But when I started my post-graduation course in the same college, I had to read a lot because post-graduation requires analytical reading. So I used to read a lot of books. I used to scan some books. Even I'd got some scanned materials. So that also helped me a lot. And, then after that, I secured the first rank for my post-graduation. Then I took my B.Ed as well. So B.Ed I took from Thrissur IAC, Institute of Advanced Studies in Education, Thrissur, near Model Boys. Then after that, I also appeared for while learning my B.Ed, I appeared for the UGC NET examination. And UGC NET examination is a prerequisite for the post of a lecturer in any particular subject. It's a basic qualification. So in that also I cleared even in the first appearance itself. After that, then I wrote the higher secondary examination. After that, I was working at Kerala Varma College as a guest lecturer. And after that, I also got an opportunity to work at Panampilli Memorial Government College, the present college where I work as a temporary faculty at that time. I worked as a temporary faculty. And while working there, I wrote the higher secondary examination. And I got the first rank. And before that, I had also written a public higher secondary examination, but in that I couldn't get into that particular job. So in the second chance, I got the first rank, and after that, I got appointed at a school in Kundankulam, near Kundankulam, Marithamkode Higher Secondary School, and there I got a chance to write the examination for the post of assistant professor in political science. So while I learned for that particular post. It was a very hard time, no? Because I was working already, and I also had to find out time to learn. So what I did was that I also read various books, and I had some friends who had gone somewhere for coaching and other such aspects, and what they used to read it out. Some of my friends, especially I remember one of my friends named Raji, who read it out in Skype. So she used to call me on Skype, and she used to read it for me, and we used to take up combined studies. And I had at that time MP3 Skype recorder, and in that I recorded the portions for my future reference, and that also helped me a lot. Now only online courses became popular, right? But even before that, I had opportunities to learn online various other aspects. So that had helped me, internet, the world of internet had helped me a lot. Now, people now, the parents and other such relatives nowadays become anxious. When students overuse internet, they become anxious. But internet has also some good opportunities or some advantages, or it takes us to the world of knowledge. So it is our use that makes us whether to determine whether that thing good or bad would be.
Toby, you would have set your future goals. What are your plans for the future, and what is your ambition?
My further goals is to take a PhD, and even I'm contented with this particular job, and I like my students. I love my students very much, and I love my subject very much. And this is my ambition, to work hard and to explore more and more in my subject, and like that, and to advance more and more. Like in this Corona time, I attended various courses, orientation as well as refresher courses. And in a similar way, as now online has become quite nearer and nearer to us, we need not have to go out of various places to explore further knowledge. And now it has become easy to explore our subject very well, and to explore our subject and to improve myself, and like that. It's my ambition, and especially I love teaching, and my college, my colleagues, and my friends.
My best wishes, Toby, for greater goals in academics and in other arena. Talking about that, how are your students taking you, and how are they interacting with you? You as a faculty, you would want each of the students to perform very well.
I don't want all the students to. Of course, I like it, but every student has his or her own perceptions or limitations or whatever it be. So I want each student to be himself or herself, but at the same time trying out in their own limitations to reach on to success. My students never treat me as a they never treat me as a person who doesn't have who has got some sort of disability. They never treat me like that. They treat me like an ordinary teacher of themselves, and even my colleagues as well. So I never have felt in such a manner.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. You had conducted interviews for All India Radio, right?
In fact, I have participated in various interviews. Especially, there is a program called Nebari in All India Radio all over Kerala. So once I got an opportunity to participate in that interview all over, and that was broadcast in all the stations of Kerala.
That's wonderful. What do you do in your free time?
Sometimes go for a walk, and I sometimes listen to music, and like that. And sometimes read good books, or even enjoy with my family or with my friends. And sometimes one of my friends just came out 2 weeks back to visit me, and we went out. His name is Vineet, and we went out together. But now this Corona time, it just become very difficult to travel. But still, I enjoy, because I take up various opportunities, and I enjoy during this time itself. And I also read some books We have certain groups for English advancement, for various other opportunities. We have the visually impaired Kerala Federation of the Blind Youth Forum. They had started a computer course, and I also have joined in that, and I could also perform well in that course. Now also I'm participating in that course, and like that, then I learned to type Malayalam in computer. It is because I was very much thrilled when I recognized some visually impaired students or my some friends were typing in Malayalam. So I learned typing in Malayalam, and it was also very easy to learn. And I used to practice sometimes, but only recently I learned, and I haven't got thorough into that particular typing. But still, I wish to explore more and more, and I also wish to enter the world of writing Malayalam. So I thought it is high time that I learned our mother tongue mother tongue typing.
Tobio, do you have any role models in your life?
In fact, I don't have any such sort of role models because I feel no one is similar to others. Everyone is unique, and we cannot associate a person as same as other one. So what I suppose is you can take some good aspects of each person, and we can adopt those characters or those qualities into our own life with some modified possibilities.
It's very insightful, especially for a person like me who did not take life so seriously. Do you have any advice for youngsters, students?
So we cannot always become whatever we think. If we can do, there is no thrill in life. Of course, we can never become. Sometimes we become some other things apart from what we think. So we might engage in various other matters. So what I suppose is, if suppose students who have come over for the graduation or post graduation, they might not have got the course that they really desired. So I just ask them, or I just suggest them studying well and exploring the possibilities of the particular course or the particular opportunity what they have received in such a way that they wouldn't ever regret that if I had done in this way, I would have. So in such a way, that means that they never would regret in such a way. So I ask them to explore the possibilities of that particular study time or that particular course time in such a way so as never ever to regret in life. And I also ask them to read extra books other than the subjects that what they learn. In order, now everything has become interdisciplinary, isn't it? Every subject has become interdisciplinary. There is no such sort of compartmentalization. So once a person, if a person has taken science subject, suppose he wants to become a teacher in a UP school, he might have to teach social studies as well. So basic knowledge in every subject has become essential these days.
That's awesome, Tobio. I have a hypothetical question for you. Say one fine day you became wealthy. What would you be doing the next day, or maybe for the rest of your life?
Never think of such things because we all are government employees, and we are accountable to the source from where we receive money. We all are accountable, and everything is under control now. We cannot receive any black money or any such things, and there are no possibilities for us to become wealthy because I will get wealth only according to what I do, and I also desire only that I must get it only according to what I do, nothing more. I never prefer getting wealth by creating harm or creating any sort of disturbances to others. Even I don't take lotteries because I don't believe in such a. I don't discourage it, but of course I don't have any such sort of enmity towards lottery, but I never take it Because this is my perception about wealth. Because wealth is only wealth has to be gained only by hard work. There is no point in, you suppose, if we get more and more wealth, our needs will also increase, our miseries will also increase, our priorities will get channelized, and we might not get the peace what we get now. So, my perception is that a person should get wealth only according to his own work and according to his own needs.
Nice way of thinking, Tobio. Thank you so much for this wonderful chat with you. Wish you all the very best.